Like shimmering blood drops, we land in the dust of the Sahara. The flight over the Mediterranean was brief, and the clear sky is covered by swarms of armed drones. The sun shines mercilessly on the ruins and bones of Tripoli. The Infernus protects us from the cell-damaging UV rays. The lifeless wasteland under our boots was once Libya. Before my eyes it rattles. Troop movements, orders, and the vitality status of my brothers swarm like fireflies in my helmet display. The armor also protects us from the rays of an artificial sun. 5 years ago, everything up to the Sahel zone was incinerated. The bones of the refugees and rebels rise as macabre memorials on the sides of the roads, scrap from vehicles and human remains. The High Command of the Eternal Army deemed it absolutely necessary to stop the refugee flows from Europe to Africa and curb the spread of the rebellious weapons laboratories. It was a war against children, the elderly, and the sick, slaughter at any cost. Was it really necessary? Questioning the decisions of the Prophet and his imperators could cost me my head. My battle brothers are with me, Dante Vendetta, Salvatore Tempesta, and Enzo de Sanctis. They come from Sicily and were transformed alongside me. I lead the troop with the spirit of my 2 years of experience as a janissary. I command 100 battle brothers who will arrive in the coming days as the rear guard. The head of the immortal Italian dynasty, Duke Alessandro Ferri, is considering raising me to the rank of general. My brothers know what that means. Command over all janissaries of Italy, 1,000 men. The Eternal Army is a gigantic resource-devouring colossus that sinks its teeth into the continent. We look up and see the armored arm of the Empire like a swarm of black hornets heading east. The most feared unit of the Empire claims the skies for itself. Blood Moon soldiers from all houses. These are not just Italians but also French and Germans. The signatures indicate that British forces of the Black Angels have joined in to decide the war in Asia. Helicopters and drones land and take off. Within these machines are not only the soldiers of the Immortals but also mortals. 30 million heavily armed fanatics are to be sent to Asia. They call our human slaves familiars. Most of them volunteered to be transformed after their military service. We didn't choose this. No one asked us, but no one cares. The Red Janissary was created as leverage to blackmail the last free people into handing over their sons to the Empire. The Blood Moon Division has the task of deciding the war on the front lines. The familiars merely serve as cannon fodder and to keep the enemy occupied. The Black Angels Division delivers the fatal blow. We Red Janissaries were created to cover the division's back and free the occupied territories from insurgents. We practically scrape up the leftovers that our dark brothers missed. I see their sick bodies in the shadow of the burnt-out houses. Homo sapiens is a tough organism that the planet doesn't seem willing to let go of. The Empire has turned their children into immortals, burnt their cities, and either killed or enslaved all their loved ones for work and harvest. And yet the fighting spirit of these creatures keeps rising again and again. They cannot believe that we were once like them. And this perspective is mutual. In the underground bunkers and fortresses of Europe, the next immortals are already maturing. The Empire will not stop until the last resistance of the remaining nations is broken. Dante Vendetta lets the flight modules of his Infernus heat up. I prevent him from making a direct jump to the city walls. We cannot know where our enemies have entrenched themselves. The city may be full of traps. I don't need to see his face to know the envy in him. He watches with resentment the swarms of drones and Blood Moon infantry passing by. He would love to shed his Infernus and be chosen as a Black Angel himself. But our mission is different. The guys get the last cry and we have to deal with the leftovers. The new combat suits of the Blood Moon soldiers now have rifles built into the armor. You have to imagine that. And we, Dante shakes his serpents with both hands, have to make do with outdated flight boots and these things here. The Serpent, a Gauss Tech-based assault rifle. Dante's Infernus cools down again. I put my hand on my battle brother's shoulder but don't take my eyes off the ruins of the city. The armor and weapon systems of the Janissaries are nearly on par with those of the division. Once I'm anointed by the Duca as general, the latest innovations will fall into our hands. Be patient, brothers. Don't forget what we are, immortals. Time should be our least problem. Enzo de Sanctis jumps into the sand beside us and kicks up a cloud of dust. He is the calm one among us, a balance for Dante's fiery moods. Our observation drone reports movements. Blessed be the master builders of the Empire's forge, that they've gifted us these blessed weapons in such a short time. Practice gratitude or silence. Especially you, Dante. Be careful your greater head doesn't become your downfall. Spitting laughter erupts from Dante's throat. Enzo de Sanctis, spoken like a priest. Maybe you'd be better suited for Ecclesia Nocturna than swinging weapons. The dance with the blade is the purest form of prayer, brother. I raise my fist and demand silence. My auspex in my armor sounds an alarm. I can smell the sweat of our enemies, flea-ridden and ragged cloth-bearers, a rootless, irradiated clan. No matter how many bombs we dropped on Africa and the Middle East, warlords keep appearing to claim the land for themselves. Shadows flicker between the ruins. Their bodies are affected by radiation. How long have these rebels been hiding in this nuclear-contaminated zone? Cancer is eating them up. It's only a matter of time before they perish from radiation's effects. Not even their blood is worth landing in our stomachs. You know the orders, no prisoners, secure the supply. A wall of projectiles hits us. The targeting systems clearly outline the contours of our attackers. They're using primitive weapons from the last century, Kalashnikovs and machetes. One of the rebels leaves his position, stands wide-legged over the wall, and sweeps his weapon left to right. How unbelievably stupid. I aim my weapon at him and watch his head explode. They wave their AKs in the air like they're in a ridiculous action movie. The projectiles bounce off the Infernus battlesuit. The impact's force is converted into energy, which I feel in my suit. It feels like someone flicked my chest. Dante and Enzo take the flanks. Our Gauss rifles make quick work of the insurgents. Blood spills into the dirt. Our bullets paint a red rose artwork on the sandstone wall. As one of the rebels collapses dying against a house wall, I see that he's holding something in his hand. "Cover!" I shout, but the explosion noise drowns my voice. Buried explosives detonate beneath our feet. My armor alarms. A slight damage to the left side. I retreat behind a wall to buy my combat suit precious seconds to seal the holes. Nanobots flow to the damaged spots. Salvatore and Dante are taken by the legs. They've gotten caught in nets and are hanging in the air. The fighters dare to leave their cover. They arm grenades to shove them into the holes of the net around my brothers. Enzo and I take aim. Then the rebels are already dead in the dust. The Banshee blade made quick work of the net and the trap setters. Dante holds the hissing blade triumphantly in the air until it disappears back into the holder on his arm. Our drone sends information to our suits. The signal ends abruptly. Something has taken it down from the sky. My auspex reports movements on the roof above me. Li Ajal al-Shams, Li Ajal al-Shams. They're shouting something in Arabic. Form a protection circle, I order. My brothers position themselves back to back. The fools have strapped explosives to themselves and are jumping from the alleys and rooftops towards us. I fire a grenade into the screaming suicide bomber above me and watch him explode in a cloud of smoke. The human flesh parts rain down as red rain into the sand. The last rebels retreat, screaming. We try to catch as many of them as possible. We chase the survivors into the cellars of a burnt-out industrial complex. The narrow transport corridor blurs the tracks. White flames flash on the walls. Shots. The collapse of bodies. As I storm the next room with Dante and the others, the rebels lie shot beyond recognition before us. I make a movement at the end of the opposite hallway. "There's someone," Salvatore hisses. "No danger. The complex is secured. These are ours." When we spot the crescent moon on the shoulder armor of the other Janissaries, we lower our weapons. "Spaniards," Dante notes, and I hear him growling under his helmet. And Portuguese. The leader of the other unit responds with a smoky rasp. I didn't know the Brotherhood Luna was sent to Tripoli, I say coolly, suppressing my surprise. Capitan Baltasar Carrasco, 1st Janissary Company of House Luna. Am I speaking with Capitano Lupo Nero? He's already seeing my name flash on his display. The Luna Janissaries don't move an inch. I bite my lip. It seems like the danger around the ruins of Tripoli is contained for now. Let's end this masquerade and speak face to face, I say. With a hiss, the others' helmets open. I follow, and then my unit removes their helmets so we can see each other's faces. The grim Portuguese looks like a battle-hardened warrior. His eyes pulse orange. My unit and his stare at each other like predators in the night. Even though the enhanced body of an immortal neither ages nor leaves scars, the wounds of old battles are clearly written across his face. A black anchor beard frames the face of a desert fox.